Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to CFCexplained, and this is your match preview for Chelsea versus not Noah's Ark but FC Noah from Armenia. And I honestly think they got inspired by Noah's Ark, and that's why the club is called Noah, I guess. So that's pretty funny. But we're not gonna disrespect him too much. We're not gonna be complacent and underestimate opponents, because then of course anything can happen. But there are some things I have been thinking about in recent days after our draw to Manchester United and our loss in the Carabao Cup against Newcastle. And just in general, I'm wondering what Maresca's plan is for our so-called squad player in the current moment. And as you know, I have been stressing a lot in almost every video how I really like Maresca's meritocracy. And I think that is really good for players to push themselves, show the manager they deserve to play, and that they pushing themselves, and it adds a healthy competition from my point of view. But now when we have played Premier League and when we have played Carabao Cup, Conference League, we have played with a sort of A and B team. Even though Maresca has talked about that it's not meant to be that way. It's just that it has happened because our so-called A team, or the team that starts in Premier League, those players have been more consistent and performed to a higher level, and I agree upon that. And I think it's also healthy having good squad depth, because you have to survive a long season with many games coming thick and fast. We got cup competition, we got Premier League, we got Conference League, FA Cup coming now in January. I'm wondering just what his plan is for the so-called B team and the squad players, because Nkunku and João Felix are players that is simply just too good to be rotational options at Chelsea. Even Enzo Fernandez, you could argue, not even argue, he's too good to be a squad player. Fantastic passer, even though he's out of form in the current moment. And for a game, when we play against Manchester United, a game that we were desperate of having some creativity, some players that can boost up the confidence and spirit in those moments when nothing is happening and we're desperate for a goal, I thought Maresca would have turned to João Felix and Nkunku. But he didn't turn to them, because he thought our outfield players and our attack played pretty well, and I can understand it. Neto was a threat, Jackson and Palmer was okay. I mean, Palmer was more than okay. He had like 8 key passes, or 5 key passes I think, and like 5 shots. So Palmer was decent, but he was marked out of the game. But maybe you could have brought in either Nkunku or João Felix, because for me Nkunku got more of that X factor in him. He can do something out of nothing, but João Felix can add that creativity, and João Felix is both him and Nkunku is very unpredictable for the opponents, because they have that sort of flair and they can use tricks to go past players. And Nkunku is a very clinical player that can score from literally anywhere. And if they're not gonna receive the minutes, if they're not gonna be relied upon in moments where it's evident they should come on in to the game, then what's the point of keeping them? Like, what was the point of even bringing João Felix? We only literally brought in João Felix because the owners just wanted to get rid of Gallagher. We were actually going for Samuel Morodion, and he would have had a more sense bringing him in, because he would have competed with Jackson, and that means Nkunku could have competed with Cole Palmer. But instead it's João Felix competing with Palmer and Nkunku competing with Jackson, and Nkunku is not a proper number 9, and therefore he might struggle in some games. So I'm just not saying you're gonna give free game time to them and the rest of the squad, rest of the players that not getting the Premier League minutes. I'm just saying, like, when you have this type of players with massive talent and creativity and flair and technical abilities, and they can do something for you, and you're not bringing them in, like, they're gonna lose faith and confidence, and they can get annoyed. And I know a player should dig down, and they should work hard, show great attitude, and continue to show what they're all about when they are getting the opportunity, which they're getting in Conference League and Carabao Cup. But it's not much they need to prove when we're facing these sort of teams. Maybe they just gonna have to step up and rocking up solid performances. And Maresca has mentioned that Nkunku, João Felix is not working hard, and not pressing as much as Jackson and Palmer does, which I can understand. They're not doing that. So either Maresca tries to solve that and talk to them and tell them what he wants them to do, but we can't just let them be on the bench every other game and never bring them on or giving them opportunities. So it's a sticky situation. Maybe you guys can help me out here. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think around this situation? Do you think Maresca has a plan? Or what should we do with Nkunku, João Felix and some other players like Enzo Fernandez that should be starters? Although I can understand Mudryk's not playing much Premier League, I think it's better for his development and his confidence maybe to get 10, 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes in Premier League here and there, and then he's focusing also on getting those crucial starting minutes in Conference League, because it's far lesser tempo. Position is not that great, and that means Mudryk can slowly learn Maresca's instructions, tactics, and learn his role, and that goes for other players. And Kieran Dewsbury-Hall is also a player that Maresca brought in, that he had at Leicester, that was his best player. We have barely seen him feature. I mean, he's someone that really knows his system inside and out, and he can utilize him in one of those half space roles. So I would have liked to see Kieran Dewsbury-Hall being more utilized, since he was such a key player for Maresca, and he will maybe add that know-how in the system. So we see if he can break in and get more minutes too in Premier League, or just come off the bench. The backline, I understand they haven't been good enough. I mean, Badiashile Disasi has a lot to prove. I understand why the likes of Renato Veiga maybe not getting minutes, Casadei, Mark Yu. I mean, they have a lot of development to do. Although I think Veiga could earn minutes in the near-term future, because he's been very mature and consistent out there. So I hope you understand where I'm coming. Where I'm coming from and why I'm asking, like, what Maresca's plan is for those sort of squad and B players we have in the current moment. How long can this continue? Can he keep everyone happy? How is he going to manage it? I'm not really sure, but they need to take their chances when they're getting them, and most of them are gonna get that tomorrow. That's the only thing they can do. And when they're getting minutes off the bench, or perhaps getting a starting chance in Premier League, they're gonna need to show Maresca that they can be relied upon. So let's move in to the predicted lineup. I wanted to talk about Noah, but to be honest, I don't know anything about them. But in the lineup, I want to see Jorgensen in goal. I think he's gonna start. And in the backline, I want to have Malagusto, Disasi, Badiashile, and Renato Veiga. And it's going to be Veiga that make the makeshift back three with Badiashile and Disasi. Cucurella could come on into the second half and get minutes, because I think he's gonna need that. He has rested a lot. I think he needs that, because I want him to get some minutes and sharpness before the Arsenal game, because I would like to start him as a left back and not having Reece James there. And I'm starting Gusto because I would like to start James against Arsenal. In the pivot, we're gonna have Enzo Fernandez and Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. I want to see Kieran Dewsbury-Hall going up and occupying one of those half spaces, making underlapping runs, having shots outside the box, attacking the box, because Maresca should utilize him. He was his best player for Leicester. I know Championship is not like Premier League, but he will add that chemistry and know-how. And Enzo will be that sort of deep line playmaker in that pivot, having a more deeper role. And I would like to see Gusto joining him. I want Gusto to learn that, because I'm not so sure if Gusto suits. I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see, but I don't know if he suits going up and inverting and joining one of those half space roles. I'd rather have more attacking threat like a Kieran Dewsbury-Hall there. And Gusto maybe can learn to play in a pivot with Enzo. Otherwise, we could give Achampong from the academy a chance, because I think he will be spot on there. Also, Fernandez has a lot to prove. He has had poor games, missed a lot of passes, tackles, hasn't shown that concentration and decision making. I know there is a player in Enzo Fernandez. He's out of form, obviously, and his execution is not there, but he needs to also take those opportunities, and his passes, if he's getting back into form, he's literally our best passer in this team with Cole Palmer and Levi Colwill. So we need Enzo back in form. As my front four, I want to have Mudryk on the left hand side, João Felix in the number 10 role, and Kunku up front. And honestly, I would like to see Tariq George be given an opportunity as the right winger. Sancho is ill and therefore he will not feature. And I want to rest Neto and Madueke. I don't really want to risk them in Conference League and then they may be getting injured ahead of Arsenal game. Maybe they can come into the second half, be giving some minutes, getting some sharpness. Maybe they score a goal, boost their confidence. But Tariq George from the academy, fantastic dribbler, has a lot of flair. Why not giving an opportunity against Noah? In terms of a score prediction, we should be able to get a 4-0 victory. We should be able to keep a clean sheet, guys. And we should be able to continue our Conference League form, picking up another win. I mean, we don't belong in this competition. We shouldn't be here, but we can only do the best out of the situation. Thank you so much for watching. CFCexplained is out. Bye.